Hey Commanders fans! The offseason is in full swing, and Washington is making moves to strengthen the team as they gear up for another run in the NFC. The Commanders are determined to refine their roster and build on the momentum from last season. If you're excited about what's coming for Washington, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for all the latest updates. One of Washington's latest moves is aimed at adding depth to the offensive line. According to ESPN insider Jeremy Fowler, the Commanders have signed offensive lineman Nate Herbig to a one-year deal. The Commanders are signing offensive lineman Nate Herbig to a one-year deal, per source, Fowler reported. 6-year veteran adds to Washington's mix at guard. Herbig was hurt last season, but is healthy now. At first glance, this move may not seem like a blockbuster signing, but it's a calculated addition by the front office. Washington's offensive line wasn't in dire need of a major overhaul, but Herbig brings valuable experience and versatility to the trenches. At just 26 years old, he still has plenty of football left in him, and his familiarity with multiple offensive schemes makes him a solid depth piece. Herbig went undrafted out of Stanford in 2019, but quickly found a home with the Philadelphia Eagles, where he spent his first 3 seasons. He then had a brief stint with the New York Jets in 2022 before joining the Pittsburgh Steelers for the past 2 seasons. Unfortunately, his 2024 campaign was derailed due to a torn rotator cuff, which landed him on injured reserve. Now healthy, Herbig is looking to prove himself and secure a spot on Washington's 53-man roster for the 2025 season. While the addition of Herbig provides needed depth, not all of Washington's offseason moves have been met with praise. In fact, some analysts have been highly critical of one particular signing. A recent ranking from the 33rd team labeled the Commanders' contract with defensive lineman Javon Kinlaw as the worst free agent deal of the offseason. According to Marcus Mosher, Kinlaw's $45 million contract with $30 million in guarantees is a risky investment given his past durability concerns and inconsistent performance. Kinlaw has missed a lot of time in the NFL, playing just 24 games in his first 3 years, Mosher wrote. He has played all 17 games in each of the last 2 seasons, so hopefully he is putting those injury concerns behind him. On the bright side, Kinlaw has shown some improvements in his pass rushing ability, tallying 8 sacks over the past 2 seasons. However, his struggles as a run defender remain a concern, leading some to question whether he's worth the investment. Kinlaw has become a decent pass rusher, Mosher noted, but he is a poor run defender and should be relied upon as a backup rather than a starter. One of the biggest reasons this move has drawn criticism is the decision to let Jonathan Allen walk in free agency. The longtime Washington defensive lineman was a leader on and off the field, and many fans were shocked when the team chose not to retain him. Instead, Allen signed a 3-year, $51 million deal with the Minnesota Vikings, a contract that some believe represents a much better value compared to what Washington is paying for Kinlaw. Mosher didn't hold back in his assessment. Kinlaw is significantly younger, but he just isn't the same caliber of player. Here's hoping that Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr. know how to deploy him better than the 49ers or the Jets. This offseason, Washington has made some aggressive moves to reshape the roster. The team traded for star wide receiver Deebo Samuel, landed All-Pro left tackle Laramie Tunsil, and added key defensive contributors like Jonathan Jones. However, when making big splashes, teams must also be careful not to overpay for potential rather than proven production. While Kinlaw's deal has raised eyebrows, the Commanders are clearly betting on their coaching staff's ability to unlock his full potential. As for Herbig, his signing is a more low-risk move that could pay off if he regains his form. He may not be a guaranteed starter, but he provides valuable depth and competition along the offensive line, something every team needs over a long season. You might remember Trent Scott from one of the most unique moments in Washington football history. Back in Week 3 against the Cincinnati Bengals, rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels threw his first ever NFL touchdown pass. But it wasn't to Terry McLaurin. It wasn't to Jahan Dotson. It wasn't to a running back or tight end. No, that historic first career passing touchdown went to none other than offensive lineman Trent Scott. A designed trick play saw Scott sneak into the end zone, catching the Bengals' defense off guard, and securing a memorable score that gave the Commanders a 2-possession lead. It was a special moment for the rookie QB and a once-in-a-lifetime highlight for Scott, who etched his name into Commanders trivia forever. Beyond the highlight reel moment, Scott proved his value in the trenches. Injuries hit Washington's offensive line late in the season, and when right guard Sam Cosmi went down in the divisional round against the Detroit Lions, Scott was called upon to step in. He didn't just fill a spot, he held his own in the NFC Championship game against one of the league's toughest defensive fronts. According to Pro Football Focus, Scott allowed just 3 pressures in that game, none of which resulted in a sack or a hit to Jaden Daniels. That's an impressive feat, especially considering he was up against a ferocious Philadelphia Eagles defensive line. In his 180 pass blocking snaps throughout the season, Scott was credited with giving up just 1 QB hit and 0 sacks. That level of efficiency is exactly why Washington wanted him back. Scott's path to the NFL hasn't been easy. He wasn't a high draft pick or a college superstar. Instead, he came into the league as an undrafted free agent in 2018, signing with the Los Angeles Chargers. Since then, he's bounced around the league, spending time with the Carolina Panthers, Pittsburgh Steelers, and now the Commanders. What makes Scott valuable is his versatility. He has experience playing both tackle and guard, making him an asset for a team that values depth along the offensive line. Injuries are inevitable in the NFL, and having reliable backups who can step in and perform at a high level is critical for a team that has championship aspirations. Some fans might wonder why the Commanders chose to bring Scott back instead of making a bigger splash at the position. The reality is that Scott fits perfectly into what head coach Dan Quinn and general manager Adam Peters are building in Washington: depth and stability. While Washington made significant upgrades at key positions this offseason, keeping continuity along the offensive line is crucial. Scott knows the system, has experience with Jaden Daniels, and proved he can step up in big moments. Cap-friendly deal. The terms of Scott's 1-year contract haven't been officially reported, but it's safe to assume it's a team-friendly deal that allows Washington to maintain flexibility while keeping a dependable depth piece in place. Locker room presence. Veteran leadership matters. Scott isn't just a solid player on the field, he's also respected in the locker room. Having guys who can step up and set the tone, especially for younger players, is an underrated aspect of building a winning culture. So, Commanders Nation, what's your take? Do you think the team made the right call signing Herbig to strengthen the O-line? And what about Kinlaw? Was he worth the investment? Or should Washington have spent that money elsewhere? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And as always, if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Commanders HQ for more exclusive coverage. We've got a big season ahead, and you won't want to miss a single update. Thanks for watching, and hail to the Commanders!